Hello, good afternoon, one and all. So this is the class 7 of financial accounting. So up to now we have discussed about the journal entries regarding some examples. These examples is enough to understand the journal entries. We are following the modern approach or traditional approach. We are following only the modern approach. What is the meaning of modern approach? So asset and expenditure is having the debit balance. If it is a debit balance, increases means what we have to do, debit, decreases means credit. So next, incomes and liabilities are called as credit balance. Credit balance increases means we have to do the credit, and credit balance decreases means we have to do the debit. What is the meaning of debit balance? Debit side is more than the credit side. So in the debit balance, the opening balance will be on the debit side, closing balance will be on the credit side. That means to balance brought down, by balance carried on. In the same way, in the credit balance, opening balance will be on the credit side, closing balance will be on the debit side. By balance brought down, to balance carried on. Okay, now these are the things we have learned. So we have seen all the circumstances regarding to the journal entries, including what ma expenditure, okay na, incomes. Next one what ma liabilities. When come to the creditor point of view, what we have seen at the time of credit purchases, the creditor value will be increases. In the case of sales purchase returns, discount received and cash payment to the creditor, in these situations the creditor value will be decreases. In the same way, at the time of credit sales, the debtor value will be increases. In the case of sales returns and in the case of discount allowed, cash issued from the debtor, bad debts, in those cases the debtor value will be decreases. So we have seen what ma debtors ledger and creditors ledger. This debtor ledger and creditors ledger is called as personal ledgers. Next we are having the impersonal ledgers. What is the meaning of impersonal ledgers? Cash ledger and journal ledger. Cash ledger will be seen in the cash book itself, in where we have to see ma cash book. So now I am going to discuss the four concepts, right, regarding outstanding expenditure, prepaid income, and next one income receivable, income received in advance. Here I can bifurcate the what is the meaning of cash basis and what is the meaning of accrual basis. So we are having the methods. How many methods we are having? Three methods or two methods? Three methods. What are the methods? Cash basis, accrual basis, hybrid. Okay, these are the manners. Sorry, methods means single entry system, double entry system. So in that we are following the method is called as double entry system. In that next we are having the three. How to maintain the books of accounts means, okay, na cash basis, accrual basis, and hybrid basis. What is the meaning of cash basis? Cash basis means we have to record only the cash related transactions. That means whether received we will record, whether paid we can record. Okay, now in this class we are going to discuss about the clear picture about the what is the meaning of cash basis and what is the meaning of accrual basis. After that we are going to solve certain sum regarding to the cash basis and regarding to the accrual basis. Okay. So please keep the heading outstanding expenditure. So up to 16 completed. So for the 17th transaction, heading is called as outstanding expenditure. So here, outstanding means what ma? Standing outside the class, getting into the class, standing outside the class. Outstanding means the expenditure which have to be paid or not paid is called as outstanding expenditure. Simply we can call it as expenditure payable. Simply what we can call expenses payable. Expenses payable is called as outstanding expenditure, or clearly means the expenses which we have to be paid or not paid during the current year. Expenditure which are to be paid in current year. or not paid. Simply we can call it as what ma expenses payable. How to record this expenditure, this expenses payable? We have to see. In order to understand this concept, I am taking an example called as outstanding salary. What I am taking ma outstanding salary. You know the BCCA board, right? BCCI, not BCCA. BCCI means Cricket Council. Okay, na Cricket Council board. So in that they are having the employees. For their what they will be there ma employees. So example what ma? Example is called as outstanding salary. What is the meaning of outstanding salary, sir? Salary which have to be paid in the current year, paid or not paid or not paid. So I am taking one of the employee. In BCCA. Okay, Chiranjeev, what is your favorite cricketer? Who is your favorite cricketer? Dhoni. Okay, I will search for Dhoni. Where he is? I think. Okay, your Virat Kohli is the favorite. Huh? Okay, thank you. You are a life savior. Yeah, there is MS Dhoni also, no problem. So, imagine here we have the, what is the business? BCCA is the business. There is employee. What is the employee name? Dhoni. So, we are paying per month. Per month, I can take 1 crore rupees. How much amount we are paying? Per month, 1 crore to Dhoni. So, into 12 months means how much amount? 12 crores. But in the current year, in this 12 crore rupees, we have paid only 10 CR. How much amount we have paid ma? 10 CR. That means how much amount we need to be paid. So payable, that one is called as what ma? Payable. So 12 crores minus 10 crores, that equal to how much ma? 2 crores is the payable amount. So payable is called as what ma? Outstanding salary. Paid is called as normal salary. Paid is called as what ma? Normal salary. Payable is called as what ma? Outstanding salary. This is called salary paid. And here this one is called as salary payable. Salary paid and salary payable. Here what are the two outcomes will come to the picture? Salary paid of rupees how much ma? 10 crore. For whom we have paid? We have paid salary to the Dhoni. What are the two outcomes? Paid means salary and cash are the two outcomes. Yes or no? Then salary payable means what are the two outcomes will come to the picture? Normally salary and a Dhoni employee will come into the picture. Normally what ma? Salary and employee Dhoni will come into the picture. Yes or no? Payable or paid? Payable. But instead of Dhoni, there will be a lot of employees. Yes or no? In the same situation, we are not paid to Dhoni means we are not paid to any employee also. So that means instead of Dhoni, we are using the account name called as outstanding salaries. So here the outcomes are salary and outstanding salary. So outstanding salary is called as a representative personal account. Is called as what ma? Representative personal account. For instead of whom we have taken ma? Instead of Dhoni, I have taken the account called as outstanding salary. Instead of Dhoni means nothing but indirectly employees. Nothing but indirectly what ma? Employees. Indirectly, instead of employees, we have taken account called as outstanding salaries. Okay, now did you understand the concept? So even though we are not going to know about the representative personal account, what is the meaning of outstanding salary? A liability. Liability means what ma? Credit balance. So increases what we have to do? Credit. So like that. So in order to simplify these concepts, we have to use which type of approach? Modern approach. Okay, now did you got the point? Or otherwise, this is a representative personal account. We have to follow the personal account rule. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. If you want to apply that one also, that principle also here, the toughest concept. So that I am using what my only modern approach. Okay, na? So this one normally we have discussed in the morning section only. So salary means what ma? Expenditure. So which balance? Debit balance. Increases or decreases? Increases. So what we have to do? Debit. Next one, cash means asset. Asset means which balance ma? Debit balance. So cash comes into the business or goes out? Goes out. So okay, don't worry. Decreases. So then we'll get what ma? Credit. Okay na? If we are following the cash basis means we will record only which amount? We will record only 10 crores rupees. We are following the cash basis means. We will not going to record what ma? 2 crores. If you are following the accrual basis means we need to record both the journal entries. Okay now, that means we have to record how much? 10 crores and we have to record how much more? 2 crores. Totally 12 crores should be recorded. Why? This 12 crores is related to current era, related to next era, related to current year. So that if you follow the cash basis means we are not going to consider the outstanding salaries. That means not going to consider the outstanding expenditure. Okay, now only the expenditure we have paid will be considered in the situation of cash basis. But if you follow the accrual basis means we have to consider the expenditure paid plus expenditure payable. Okay, now because both the things are happening happening into the current era, next era, are happening into the current year. They belongs to the current year itself. They belongs to the current year itself. The total expenditure we need to show related to current year as per accrual basis. Okay na? So next one, salary means what ma? Again, salary means what? Again, it is an expenditure. Debit balance. Again, it is an again it is an expenditure. Debit balance increases debit. Whether there will be any changes or not there. There will not be any changes. Did you get the point or not? Okay. Next, outstanding salary means what ma? Liability. Because paid or payable? Payable. Credit balance or debit balance? Credit balance. So increases or decreases? Increases. Because we have not paid. We have not paid. At the time of payment of outstanding salaries, the liability value will be decreases. Increases. So what we have to do ma? Credit. Okay. Here what is the entry we'll get? For the first part, the okay. Salary account debit to how much? 10 CR and 10 CR. What is the next part ma? Salary account debit to outstanding salaries. how much? 2 CR and 2 CR. Okay na guys? So like that we need to record in the journal entries. Okay na? Next, what we need to decide in the cash basis means we will record only salary paid. We will not going to consider the outstanding salaries. So that point we need to write it down. Did you understand the concept? You have recorded or not recorded? You have written a. Okay. What is the note point? So in the here we are going to decide whether in the cash basis which amount we need to consider, in the accrual basis which amount we need to consider. So divide the page into two parts: cash basis and accrual basis. So in the cash basis, we will consider only the transactions which are related to cash. Otherwise, we will consider, we will not consider. We will not consider. So here we will consider only salary paid. We will consider only salary paid. We will not consider outstanding salary. We will not consider outstanding salary. As per accrual concept, what is the meaning of accrual concept, ma? Whether paid or payable, received or receivable, we have to consider, but should be related to current era, related to next era, related to current year. That means what, ma? If you observe here, the total salary during the current year, how much we need to pay? We need to pay totally 12 crores, but we have paid only how much? 10 crores. So outstanding is how much? 2 crores. But the total salary belongs to current year. So that we need to consider both the salary paid and as well as what, ma? Salary payable. So here we will consider both salary paid plus salary payable or outstanding salary. Nothing but outstanding expenditure will not be considered in the cash basis. Outstanding expenditure will be considered in the accrual basis. That is the final point. That is the final point. What is the final point, ma? Outstanding salary will be considered. Sorry, expenses. Please take here. Just a minute. Outstanding expenses will be considered in accrual basis and will not be considered in cash basis. Did you get the point? So this is how I have concluded the outstanding expenditure. Okay, now is there anything to note out? Outstanding, so highlight this point. So this is more important. We will get at least 7 mark question on the cash basis on accrual basis. We have to find out the profit as per cash basis and profit as per accrual basis. That question we'll get for how many marks? 7 marks in the examination CMA Inter itself. Okay, na? The most important concept. That concept also I am explaining here itself. Okay, na? After completion of these 4 special transactions, we are going to solve that one also. That question, that is the final question of chapter number 1. Completed? Not recorded? Just a second. Is there any doubts regarding to this concept? Completed? This point also completed? Next one, prepaid expenditure. What is the transaction number? 18. The transaction number 18. Prepaid expenditure. What is the meaning of prepaid expenditure? The expenditure paid in advance is called as a prepaid expenditure. Nothing but the expenditure paid in current year. But related to next year. The expenditure paid in current year but related to next year is called as a prepaid expenditure. Okay, guys. Let us take the example. Normally, example, prepaid rent. What is the example? Example is called as prepaid rent. We are the business. We have taken a rent. We have taken a rent of one house property or building. We have taken a rent. Rent per month is equal to 10,000 rupees. Per month is equal to how much ma? 10,000. That means per annum is equal to how much ma? 10,000 into 12 months. That is equal to 1,20,000. 1,20,000. But in current year, we paid 1,50,000 rupees towards rent. How much amount we have paid ma? 1,50,000 rupees towards rent. The total amount we have paid or anything needs to be payable. Total amount we have paid. But we need to bifurcate 1,20,000 and 30,000 because 1,20,000 only belongs to the current year. 30,000 is related to next year. Okay now. So in this 1,50,000 rent, we are dividing into how many parts ma? 2 parts. Up to here completed. So what is the per month? 10,000. Per annum means how much ma? 1,20,000. In this 1,20,000, for the 1,20,000, we have paid for how much ma? We have paid for rupees of 1,50,000. Okay. Total rent paid during the current year. In shortcut of current year, we can write CY also. CY means current year. How much ma? 1,50,000 rupees. 1,50,000 rupees. In the 1,50,000 rupees, $1,20,000 for current year. 1,20,000 for current year. Remaining how much ma? 1,50,000 minus 1,20,000. That is equal to 30,000 for which year ma? For next year. 1,20,000 for current year. We can write detailedly. $1,20,000 for current year, 30,000 for the next year. We can call this 1,20,000 is called rent paid. What is the meaning of this 1,20,000 ma? Rent paid. Then what is the meaning of 30,000 guys? The 30,000 meaning is called prepaid rent. What is the? Okay now. Okay. Please be what is the meaning of that one? Patience. Okay now, the syllabus will be completed. Please be very patient. Even though you know the concept, but we have the patience. Prepaid rent. Okay na? Okay, write with me. Write along with me. You will not get any sleep. Okay na, Chiranjeevi, right? So what are the two outcomes for the rent paid? The two outcomes for the rent paid is rent and cash, or rent paid and cash. What are the two outcomes for the prepaid rent? Prepaid rent and cash. Okay, now prepaid also, what is the meaning of prepaid? Whether paid or not paid? Paid. So prepaid rent and cash. Okay. Here rent paid is called as what ma? Expenditure. Which balance? Debit balance. Increases or decreases? Increases. Previously we are not having any rent paid. Now only we are getting the rent paid amount. So increases. What we need to do? Debit. Next one, cash. Cash means an asset. Which balance ma? Debit balance. Cash means an asset. Which balance ma? Debit balance. So cash comes in or goes out? Goes out. So the balance is decreasing or increasing? Decreases. The balance is decreases. So what we need to do? Credit. Next, when come to the prepaid rent means we have paid the rent before the completion of the period itself. So the prepaid rent is called as asset. Outstanding rent is called as liability, but the prepaid rent is called as what ma? Asset. Asset means debit balance. So increases or decreases? Increases. Okay, now in the next month, when come to the next month, next year first month, it will become decreases. Okay, now if you not paid the amount. So initially the balance will be increases. On the due date of the rent, the balance will be decreases. So increases debit balance means what we need to do? Debit. Next, when you think from the cash point of view, cash is also a asset. Which balance? Debit balance. Okay, now debit balance. Cash comes in or goes out? Goes out. Decreases. What we need to do? Credit. What we need to do ma? Credit. So what is the entry we'll get here? Rent account debit to cash account, or rent paid account debit to cash account. What is the amount ma? 1,20,000. 1,20,000. Okay, you have eaten the cold rice. So what is the entry here ma? Prepaid rent account debit to cash account. How much amount we have to record? 30,000. In shortcut I am writing, or 30,000 and 30,000. Okay. We are going to follow the cash basis means what we are following ma? Cash basis. What is the meaning of cash basis? We have to consider all the cash payments. So here we need to consider how much amount? 1,50,000. That means prepaid rent also will be considered or will not be considered? Will be considered in cash basis also. Okay now. But when come to the accrual basis, we should consider only it should be related to current era. It should not be related to current era. It should be related to current year. Totally we have paid how much amount? 1,50,000. In this 1,50,000, For the current year, how much amount it belongs to? 1,20,000 only belongs to the current year, but 30,000 belongs to the next year. So as per the accrual concept, we need to consider only 1,20,000. We should not consider the 30,000. Yes or no? Ma? Even though we are paid, but also we should not consider because it is not related to current year. Who said that one? Accrual concept. Accrual concept. So from this point of view, in accrual basis, we should not consider the prepaid expenditure. In the accrual basis, we should not consider the prepaid expenditure, but in the cash basis, we will consider the prepaid expenditure. Okay, now that means as per cash basis, what is the rent means? Rent means 1,50,000 as per cash basis. As per accrual basis, what is the rent amount? Rent means only 1,20,000. That means total rent paid minus prepaid rent is called as a the correct amount of 1,20,000 that will be considered as per accrual basis. Okay, now so please write the note point. So in the note point, what are the two bases? Cash basis and accrual basis. So in the cash basis, we will consider both rent paid plus prepaid rent. We'll consider both rent paid plus prepaid rent. But as per accrual basis, we will consider only rent paid. That means we will not consider, we will consider only the rent paid. That means we will not consider prepaid rent. We will not consider the prepaid rent. What is the conclusion point? What is the conclusion point, ma? Or the prepaid expenditure or expenses will be considered in cash basis, will not be considered in accrual basis, will not be considered in accrual basis. This is the conclusion point. When come to the outstanding expenditure, will be considered in accrual basis, will not be considered in cash basis. Are you getting my point? Okay, guys. Okay. So basically, we'll get to sleep at this time. Around the time is only 3:18 itself. We have started the discussion at 2:30. Now the time is 3:20. This is the time is called as sleepy time. So please avoid the cold rice or eat only some food. Okay na? Drink lemon water, it's fine for afternoon itself. Okay na? Please maintain the diet also. We'll get the fitness. Chiranjeevi, especially for you. I think Kavya today controlled the sleep. Completed. Even they are motivating to come to the 100% English batch because I am teaching in English, 100% English in that class also. Huh? Funny? Funny is ready to come to this batch, huh? Because here it will be a peaceful manner, but only we should control the sleep. All the English. Why I am speaking in this much slow manner means if I speak in a fast manner, I am not able to get the words in English. So that I am teaching in a slower manner. If you observe me, I am writing and I am saying why, because I am not getting the words in English. That's all. Okay na? Completed. Next one. What is the final conclusion here? The prepaid expenses will be considered in the cash basis, will not be considered in the accrual basis. This is the final conclusion. So please be careful with this point. Next one. What is the next point? 18th. The next transaction number is 19. So outstanding expenditure is completed, prepaid expenditure is completed. Next, income receivable. What is the next concept, guys? Income receivable. What is the meaning of income receivable? What is the meaning of income receivable? Whether income received or receivable? Receivable. That means, what is the meaning of that one? The income related to the current year, we have not received during the current year. The income related to the current year, we have received or we have not received? We have not received during the current year. The income have to be received during the current year. Have to be received during the current year. Not received, but not received. But not received during the current year. The income have to be received during the current year, but not received during the current year. Generally, this kind of income is called as interest receivable. What is the concept? Interest receivable. Please keep the example as what is the example? Interest receivable. Sir, what is the meaning of interest receivable, sir? What is the meaning of interest receivable? not received during the current year, but it should be received in the current year. Example, business. We're having the business. Okay, go outside and come. Fan. What happened? Nothing problem. So we are having a bank account. Our business is having a bank account in HDFC Bank. Where ma? HDFC Bank. We are having the surplus funds in the business. So we have made a fixed deposit. What we have made ma? We have made a fixed deposit in HDFC Bank. So if you made the deposit in HDFC Bank, what we will get ma? We will get an interest. Yes or no ma? We will get an interest. So generally interest will be get on which basis ma? Quarterly basis. On which basis ma? Quarterly basis. In a year, totally how many quarters will be there? Quarter means 3 months. Quarter means how much ma? 3 months. Why are you laughing? Why did you laugh? Okay. So interest. So that means year means how many months will be there? 12 months. So 12 months divided by 3 months means how many quarters? So that means in a year how many quarters will be there ma? 4 quarters. Okay. First quarter interest will be get in the second quarter. Okay na? Quarter 1, quarter 3. Okay. Every time that time how many quarters will be there ma? 4 quarters. Okay na? Quarter 1 interest will be get in which quarter? Quarter 2. Okay na? Quarter 2 interest will be get in quarter number 3. Quarterly 3 interest we will get in quarterly in which quarter ma? 4th quarter. Then 4th quarter will be interest we will get in next year quarter beginning. Yes or no ma? Next year quarter beginning we will get the 4th quarter interest. That means this quarter 1, 2, 3, 4 is belongs to which year? Current year. It belongs to which year ma? Current year. This again quarter 1 is belongs to next year. It belongs to which year ma? Next year. That means this quarter interest. This quarter what ma? Interest we will get in which quarter ma? Next year quarter number 1. Okay na? So that means quarter 4 interest is called as which quarter ma? Quarter 4 interest is called as interest receivable. Is called as what ma? Interest receivable. Then quarter 1 and quarter 2 and quarter 3 interest are called as interest received. Did you get the point right? Okay, now quarter 4 interest is called as what ma? Interest receivable. Interest received. Sorry, quarter 4 is called as interest receivable. 1, 2, 3 is called as interest received. Okay na? Imagine we are having a fixed deposit of 1 crore rupees. Fixed deposit of 1 crore rupees. On that we will get a interest of 1%. Interest of how much ma? 1% every year. That means how much interest we have to receive in the current year? 1% means how much? 1 lakh. 1 lakh only na? 1 crore minus 0, 10 lakhs minus 0, 1 lakh. That one 1 lakh. The total interest is equal to what ma? 1 lakh. That means per quarter how much? 25,000, 25,000, 25,000. Okay, na? So what is the conclusion, guys? Yeah, the conclusion from the whole story. Total FD. What is the meaning of FD, ma? Fixed deposit is equal to how much, ma? 1 crore rupees. On that we will get how much interest, ma? Interest at the rate of 1% per annum. How to calculate the 1% per annum, ma? 1 crore into 1 divided by 100. Then we will get how much, ma? 1 lakh only, na? 1 lakh or 10 lakhs? 1 lakh rupees. Per quarter means divided by 4. Per quarter means what, ma? Divided by 4. That means per quarter is equal to how much, ma? 25,000. How did we get? 1 lakh divided by 4. Then we will get what, ma? 25,000. Did you get the point or not? Okay, na? This 25,000 we have got 1 lakh divided by 4 quarters. Okay, na? Some multiplication work I have done, I have given, that's all. So here we are dividing. Okay, na? We are dividing into 2 parts. What are the 2 parts, sir? Quarter 1, 2 and 3 into a 1 part. Quarter 1, 2 and 3 is a 1 part. On quarter 4 is another part. Okay, na? What is the meaning of 1, 2, 3, sir? 1, 2, 3 belongs to current year or next year? 1, 2, 3 belongs to current year. That means current year interest we will receive in the current year itself. Current year interest we will receive in current year only. Quarter 4 interest will be received in which year? Next year. What is the meaning of this one? Current year interest will be received. Will be received, we have received. Will be received in next year. Current year interest will be received in next year. Please don't be confused. Okay, na? So that means per quarter how much, ma? 25,000 into 3 quarters. That is equal to how much? 75,000. And what is the balance amount? 1 lakh minus 75,000. That is equal to 25,000. This 25,000 is also belongs to current year or belongs to next year? Belongs to current year, but we will receive in the next year. So this 75,000 is called as interest received or receivable? Interest received. And this 25,000 is called as interest receivable. Interest receivable. Okay, na, guys, did you get the point? Okay, now. So because why did I have done this all the things means because you are getting a sleep. I can say directly the interest receivable this much, the interest received this much. Okay, now you are getting the sleep. For that only I have given this much calculation. Okay, now the conclusion point is what is the interest received amount? 75,000. Interest receivable amount is how much, ma? 25,000. This is enough. Okay, na? Receivable means we are going to receive the current year income in the next year. So what are the two outcomes will come into the picture while the interest received? Interest received and cash. Interest received and cash. What is the meaning of interest received, sir? Income or expenditure? Income. Income, which balance? Income means credit balance. Increases or decreases? Increases. What we need to do? Credit. Next, cash is an asset or liability? It is an asset. Which balance, ma? Debit balance. So comes into the business or goes out? Comes in. So that increases. So this concept is called as debited. So debit balance increases debited. Okay na? Imagine in the last batch is called as Vijay batch. There is no student in front of me, but I need to teach in 100% English. What is my situation at that point of time? Really, the batch was completed. 100% English batch. The total syllabus I have teach. So what is in that batch, I have come to the conclusion is that I will teach like this only. Even though if there is no student in front of me also, I will teach like this only. Writing and I will teach. Because I don't know, in front of the, I have recorded 2 to 3 lectures without writing anything, and I am saying like, okay, now I only cannot understand that concept. So that what I am doing is, I am writing and I am teaching. My English class notes will be very much nice. I will show you. Vijay batch, right? Vijay batch. This is a Vijay batch notes of last time. See how it is. By way of writing, and I will teach. I will teach myself only. This is the writing. Cash book. These notes I will teach for the CAT batch directly. At the morning section, the class will be completed of Vijay batch. Next, I will come to the CAT classes. For that, for same concept. Okay, now what is the concept? Will I have to teach in the CAT batch? I will teach there only, and I will write the notes in a clear manner, and I will come to the class. So, how it is notes? Very nice, na? This much neatly. Now, this notes also will be like that only. If you observe, means where is this? How this one? How is this one? It's the regular batch writing. There is a lot of difference, na? This is now this one. Somewhat nice only. Because there is a the chair will be comfortable. Okay, na? Nice chair will be there. Nice table. AC will be there. Right, sitting and writing only. What are the two outcomes? Receivable. Receivable means whether the cash will come to the picture. No. Receivable means we have not received, so that cash will not come into the picture. So what are the two outcomes here? Interest and interest receivable. Again, what is the meaning of interest? Income, credit balance, increases, credit. Income, credit balance, increases, credit. Then after, interest receivable means asset. Okay, now. Asset means which balance? Debit balance. Increases or decreases? Increases. What ma? Debit. So now we have to write the journal entries. What is the journal entry in interest received? Cash account debit to Cash account debit to interest received. How much more? 75,000, 75,000. Here, what is the entry ma? Interest receivable account debit to interest account. How much amount? 25,000 and 25,000. Okay now. As per accrual basis, okay now. How much amount we need to consider? We need to consider 1 lakh or we need to consider 75,000. We need to consider 1 lakh as per accrual concept because all the 1 lakh belongs to current year. But we have received only 75,000. As per cash basis, we will consider only 75,000. We will not consider 25,000. That means income receivable will be considered in the case of accrual basis, will not be considered in the case of cash basis. So note point. Completed this one? Huh? From here onwards, from example, example is completed. Example, okay. Please take a note of it. Completed. What is the time? 3:40. Still 20 minutes. There is a second, another concept also. It will be sufficient. Tomorrow, while coming to the class, please revise 16, 17, 18, 19 concepts. We can discuss one sum upon that. Okay, now. Completed. So for this purpose only, I have told you the syllabus will be completed as early as possible because there will not be any jokes. Okay, now only straightforward only concepts. Okay, now I think Shiva sir will crack the jokes. I think so. Yes, sir. In English also. In English also. Somewhat. Okay. I will prepare daily 2 jokes in English and I will come to the class from next time onwards. Slowly I will get interaction with you. How is the law class? Good. Completed. So what is the note point we have to write? What are the two bases? Cash basis and accrual base. So in the cash basis, we will consider the income receivable. We will not consider. We will not consider. We will consider only income received. We will consider only the income received. We will not consider income receivable. In accrual concept, we will consider both. We'll consider both income received plus income receivable. Okay, now what is the conclusion point? Income receivable will be considered in accrual basis. Will not be considered in cash basis. The next concept is called as income received in advance, will be discussed in the next class. Okay, guys? So in this class, we have discussed about the outstanding expenditure. Outstanding expenditure means what, ma? We have to be paid in the current year, but we have not paid. Okay, now. So what is the outstanding expenditure entry? Expenditure account debit to outstanding expenditure account. Next, prepaid expenditure. What is the meaning of prepaid expenditure? Expenditure not related to current year, but we have paid in the current year itself. It is related to the next year. What is the prepaid expenses entry? Prepaid expenses account debit to cash account. Next, income receivable. The income belongs to the current year, but we have not received during the current year. What is the income receivable entry? Income receivable account debit to income account. So, outstanding expenditure will be considered in the case of accrual basis, will not be considered in the case of cash basis. Next, in the same way, prepaid expenditure will be considered in the case of cash basis, will not be considered in the case of accrual basis. Next, income receivable will be considered in the case of accrual basis, will not be considered in the case of cash basis. Because the accrual basis means whether paid or not paid, whether received or not received, it should be belongs to the current year means we will consider. Otherwise, we will not consider. Then what is the meaning of cash basis, sir? Irrespective of the current year, whether we paid will be considered, whether we received it will be considered. Okay, now only cash basis means we will record only the cash transaction irrespective of the current year. So this is how we are concluding this class. In the next class, there is a one special transaction called as income. What is that one, ma? Income receivable we have discussed. Income received in advance we will discuss in the next class. So that one also very interesting topic. So thank you. Have a nice day.